So, Christian, we've been wanting to shoot this Brandly podcast for a while. It's great to finally start.
Yep, absolutely. Yeah, we've been talking about it, so time to get it off the ground, and hopefully, this exciting opportunity with Brandly, not just for us as a business, but also for the companies and the businesses we can help, because we're coming from a completely different angle to most agencies out there.
Amazing. Can't wait to get stuck into it. Now, tell me what we're talking about today.
So today we're going to start with business strategy and marketing. And look, there's a bit of irony in what we're talking about, in the sense that we would normally want to start from a lower baseline of business consulting strategy. But I think for the people that might be listening to this, they're going to be more interested in the overall Brandly offering with business consulting and marketing, and how does that actually work together. So I think it's important we address that first.
What are the challenges that are presenting and dealing with both business and marketing?
Yeah, so essentially we started Brandly because we encountered those issues ourselves. So myself and then Abra, who's a partner with me on this, is we both have our own businesses. And as business and marketing has evolved, particularly marketing has evolved, we've gone from, if you go back, 15, 20 years, it was TV, print, billboards, that type of advertising, right? And then you've got this digital revolution, and now we're even coming to an AI revolution and what that's going to do to the market. But even if you talk about digital marketing, where do you start? Is it Google? Is it social media? If it's social media, which platforms? Is it email marketing, your website? So for most businesses, we always talk about having a physical house and a digital house, and not everyone needs that. Let's say you're a retailer, you're going to have a physical house, which is going to be your shop where customers can come into, and you're going to have your digital house. And ultimately, as any business, you're not a influencer, right? If you're a business, you're trying to sell a service, a product, or something of the like. So the goal is that you are driving a transaction in some way, shape, or form. So then it's about producing content that catches someone's eyes, that's then going to convert into a sale on your products or services or offering. That's all good in theory, and it's all good in, I guess, in the practical sense of it. But how do you do that, and how do you do it effectively? So for us, business strategy and consulting go hand in hand. If you don't actually understand or have a business strategy, how do you execute a marketing strategy? And or if you do have a business strategy and then you offload your marketing to an agency and they don't know your business strategy, how can they possibly produce an effective marketing strategy that's in line with your business strategy? And for us, therein lies a big part of the problem.
Yeah, it's so difficult, even from a videographer's point of view. When someone comes up to me and says, "I want a video, how much?" and I chunk straight up to, well, what's your business objective? What's your strategy? What does this video involve? And all of that information is crucially important to the success of the video. There's no point doing that the marketing you're talking about if you don't have your business strategy right. So what's your experience with helping businesses and their strategy?
So what we always want to look at is, A, do you have one? B, what is that strategy? And is it the right strategy? That has to be the first priority for any business. And we'll always say, it's like building a house. If you don't have a solid foundation, you could build the most beautiful mansion on top of a bad foundation. It's not going to change the fact that you're going to get cracks in the house, no matter how beautiful that house is, right? And ultimately, if that foundation crumbles, the whole house is coming down. And business is no different. You can't put, a pretty skin on it if you don't have a good foundation in place. So it's really important that there's a baseline financial strategy. So that's normally in the form of a P&L. So it's got to be all your business expenses and operating costs. We do find with smaller business, there's misses. So as bad as, do I need to put my wage in it? Like, yes, that's a business expense. Whether you have cars, petrol, all the other expenses that you need in your business, as well as then what your expected or forecasted turnover is, and what your profitability looks like against your expenses. So if you don't have that, that has to be number one, because that's the first tell to say, do I have a successful business in front of me, or am I already setting myself up for failure because I haven't planned what I really need to achieve on a financial level?
Yeah.
That then should drive a actual plan or business strategy as far as what do I need to achieve in order to hit these numbers, and how do I go about that? And one of the probably the biggest thing within that is actually understanding who your customers are. And again, it's easy to say, I've worked a lot in the golf industry, right? So it's easy to say, oh, well, in Australia, we have, 350 to 500 golf pro shops. And you could just say, well, it's a golf pro shop. So then we should all just do the same thing because we're a golf pro shop. We sell golf, right? So shouldn't it practically be the same? But if you're a high-end golf course versus a low-end golf course, if you're private versus public access, your geographical reach is going to have an influence on the type of customers that you have. Your economic or your geographical reach will impact the economic profile. Age profile is going to impact behaviors. So there's so many crucial components that need to be considered. Even if you're the same as other businesses out there, your business is always going to be unique to your influencing factors and your customer base. So probably something we'll dive deeper in as we go into more podcasts is actually understanding that it's not about you and what you're offering. It's actually about understanding your customers and what you're trying to deliver to your customers and how you convert that back to your business.
Wow. And there's so much, isn't there? It's so involved and there's a lot of hats to wear. And you mentioned the finance hat, and we've had these discussions before, and that we're supposed to start with finance, and I've learned that the hard way. I ended with finances only in the last 6 months that I've really understood the finances of my business. And I started just thinking, look, I'm really good it started as a photographer, not a videographer, but I was a really good photographer. And I just thought, look, I'll just do the best job I can, produce the best photos I can, and the money will follow because people will see how great these photos are and they'll chase me down. And they'll want to book me in and I'll be shooting 100 weddings a year. Well, that never happened because I didn't really run it like a business. Yeah. And I didn't look at the finances. And I was doing ridiculous things like 12-hour weddings and charging $2,000 for a 12-hour wedding and not thinking about the costs of my time, the consultation, my equipment, the editing, all of that sort of thing. So what are some of the biggest mistakes that you see with businesses not having that structure there first and not doing it in the right kind of order?
Well, basically, it just ultimately means you're doing things without knowing what is good and what's bad. So how do you measure success in a business if you don't have something to measure it against, right? So if you're just going forward thinking, as long as I make $3,000 this week, I'm good. Or as long as I do put 10 grand through the books this month, that's good. Well, why is it good? Is it really good? Does it actually cover all your costs and operating expenses? How far should that roadmap be ahead of time? How far do your sales funnels need to be out? Does it need to be 3 months, 4 months to ensure you've got a viable business? Because most businesses you can't, and you'll see fluctuations, right? So if you're kind of just winging it and just going week to week, month to month, you're going to have fluctuations where, this month was a good month, this month's a bad month. I was really good last month. Why all of a sudden I've got no money this month? Mm. And again, a lot of that comes back to your strategy, your planning, understanding your resources. So for the sake of this podcast, we'll call this one here. But a lot of what we've raised as conversation points, we'd ask the audience to stay tuned because these conversational points will be coming soon. And hopefully we'll cover off some really cool topics that will allow businesses to understand a bit deeper about some of these specific questions.